Welcome to A Fool's Errand, a podcast where we plan to fail, make mistakes, and learn 12 skills in 12 months. It's episode 3, week 2 of Chess Month. Today I'm going to tell you all about my week, the ups and downs, the earning points, the losing points, and the plans and little shiny bits of hope throughout it. This is definitely a difficult week. I would say probably the most difficult week of the month so far, but it was also really fun and interesting and exciting. A lot of stuff happened in it, and I was actually really tired at the end of it. It was really overwhelming in a lot of ways. So that's probably why this podcast is coming out late Monday, because I didn't record it until Monday, and I normally record on Friday. So yeah, it was definitely an interesting week. I had to remember a lot that losses were going to happen, and I had to, last week that learning from that was really helpful, seeing how we were going to sometimes lose some points, and we had to reforge our entire plan, which sometimes that happens, you know? And it was just really intense. I was playing chess so much, thinking about chess so much, it was like all that was inside of my head. But we may as well jump right into it, some recordings from the week, and talk about how each day went, and how I figured it out. So we'll just probably start with Monday. Monday. Rating 1313. Good morning, everyone. My room is an absolute mess, but that doesn't matter because my hotspot on my phone is working, so I can go work at the warehouse. Finally, my planned office space, the warehouse that's like across the street from my house. My parents own it to work on furniture that they sell out of, but there's a little office space I have in there. I have very little distractions. It's away from my, rest of my living space, so when I'm in there, my brain will know it's just space. On our first episode, we organized the desk in there. I can put a before and after picture in here. I didn't actually have an after picture until now, because I didn't keep working on the desk when I wasn't using it. But now I have, so Monday morning, I'm going to be able to work at the office I plan on working at. Before and after picture in the link in the show notes. Okay, it's not even that cold in here. There's no, central heating, but it's pretty well insulated. And I have this giant heater. It's like a rocket. It's kind of awesome. Here, listen to it power up. It's a giant space heater rocket thing. Okay, my desk has gotten a little messy since I haven't been here in a while, so I'm going to clean it up, and we're going to get on work. I started with high hopes on Monday after last week ending off at the amount of points I wanted. I was ready to go, happy, excited. So I jumped right into some games. Okay, first game, 1436. So more than 100 points or whatever you call them above me. Okay, giving me another passed pawn. I'm going to have to really focus, but they're only at 2 minutes left. I'm at 4 minutes. We're near the end. I have a passed pawn, which is a good thing in this game. Score goes up 33. So, if we want to stay on normal schedule, I don't have to play any more chess today. If we want to just stay on my special... Sorry, I'm rolling around in a rolling chair. If we want to just stay on my special... I want 50 points a day on that one, then I'm going to have to get only 20 more points. I'm going to play another game. Spoiler... It wasn't as easy as I thought it would be. I lost quite a few games after that, so I didn't end up earning the amount of points I had planned on earning, regardless of which goal I was doing, because I have kind of these two goals I can go for every day. It would be nice if I got 20 points every day, because that would mean I'd end the week 100 points up if I'm just doing it on the weekdays. If I get 100 points a week, I'll end the month with 1,600 points, my goal, but I was thinking that maybe the last 200 might be harder than the first 200, so I was hoping I could get 200 points a week for the first 2 weeks, and then only have to do 50 points a week for the next 2 weeks. So I was going for 50 points a day, kind of as my ceiling goal, my highest goal, and then my lower goal is just 20 points a day. But in trying to go for those 50 points a day, I got less than 20 points that day because I lost so many games. But I wasn't that scared because if that's happened last week, I can just earn those points back. So I started the next day, equally hopeful and not very worried at all. Good morning. I'm starting a lot of things with that. It is Tuesday. Morning, 9:32. 2 minutes behind schedule, so we're ruined. We're gonna quit now. But today I'm trying to do my new schedule exactly as I wrote it down. Make that the main priority, because I like schedules, but sometimes you'll be like, I don't really want to do that part. I'll just keep doing this, and then by not following the schedule, you miss out on one aspect of the goal you're trying to achieve. So I'm gonna try to follow that schedule exactly today. Geez, hiccups. It's a beautiful day. One thing I didn't think about having nice at the warehouse is I've never had like a commute before. Even though this is like a super short walk, it is like a commute. So I do get automatic time outside every day because I have to walk there. Whereas when you're homeschooling, sometimes you don't have to leave the house for an entire day, which isn't healthy. Normally I try to leave the house. Even if I don't have to, I'll just go outside or walk to the store or something. But now I'm gonna get that automatically in every morning before I start work. Wake me up to being the beautiful outside landscape, and also kind of clears your head. I'm now not at home. I'm at my workspace at the warehouse. And then if I want to go back home to get a snack or whatever, it's a longer walk, so it's harder for me to get distracted because I can't just walk into the next room and grab a sandwich or whatever. So I am oh shoot, I'm an idiot. Forgot the flipping keys to open the thing up. I have to go get this. Kitty? Don't make a decision, in or out. Let's go, kitty. Move it. Okay, I'm going out, so I'm gonna close this door. Oh, you come out. Got the keys now? So, I got to the warehouse. I was able to play a couple games, most of which I lost, but I was still pretty confident that I could earn those points back. And so I went into town to play some games in the town that's only a walkable distance away, and was sat down kind of at high hopes and ready to go. I am here in town with my computer at full power, so I should be able to play plenty of games of chess. I have the entire center square field to myself. It's really bright and beautiful, warm. It's almost reminding me of an oncoming spring. Even though I have not won a real game yet today, I actually am not worried in the slightest. Well, that's a lie. I'm always a little worried, but I'm not above my normal amount of worry, because last week I lost a ton of games and everything was fine. So I think I've learned my lesson that as long as I keep on the schedule and keep going, I'm learning from my mistakes, everything should be good. So let me pull out my chess notes that I've been taking from games and stuff, read through those, and then start playing a couple games. After that, I didn't win a ton of games in town. I have this little checklist in a notebook that makes me go through these motions to check all my pieces and check all my strategies to make sure that I haven't made any major blunders or anything that means they could win or gain an advantage in the game. And it was so weird. I planned on following it, but I would just keep not following it. And on Wednesday, I was like, okay, today we're just going to completely forget about winning. We're just going to follow this thing so we won't make any blunders or big mistakes. And it seemed to work. I just won my first game. Granted, it was against someone who was 100 points below me, but I won. I did the thing where I couldn't abandon the thing. I'm embarrassed to say I did quit it at endgame because there were very few pieces to pay attention to. We only had pawns, so I didn't really have to check everything constantly. But they resigned because I had a bishop and a knight, and they only had pawns, and then I had a passed pawn, so they were pretty much dead. So I'm back to 1300, which means if I want to stay on schedule, I was supposed to be at 1400 yesterday. I will have to be at 1450 today. But if I want to, that's my highest hope schedule. If we want to just stay on normal schedule, I have to be at 1400 by the end of the week. So after that, I decided to go into town and play some games there. It's a really nice environment to play games in. There's a lot of stuff going on around you, so you don't really feel like you're just in this boring space. And between games, you can get up and walk around, kind of letting your blood flow and giving you chances to kind of let things sink in and think about strategies and what you were doing. It's just, I've written in town before, and it's really nice. It's a really dynamic, friendly environment. There's tons of benches and restaurants and stuff like that around my town, so I've just taken those and using those.
Here in town, hopefully I can win some games and turn out more points than I started today with. Maybe get all the way back up to yesterday's points, or hopefully maybe surpass that. I think after I played this game, I'm going to go get a donut, because donuts are the core of all joy. I just won that game, got 37 points, because they were above me. And so that means I only have to win 3 more games to get back to... Nope. I would have to win 4 more games around to get back to how I started today, and then 5 games to get to what I want to, which I think I have enough time to do that today. I'm going to go grab a donut and let my brain rest, but that opening was really interesting and worked. I might try it again.
After that, I lost a game, but I decided to go into the college campus that was accessible in town. There's a lot of nice benches and spots around there, I think, that students use to study, but it's open to the public, and I think the college is empty right now. I don't know. It was when I went on, I didn't see anyone, so I went out there and began to play games, but I just kept losing them. I lost, I think, 2 more, and the internet was being really fidgety, which was annoying. So I started to get nervous that maybe I wasn't doing this right, that my strategy wasn't adequate. Not like in chess, but my strategy for learning chess wasn't good enough. So here's my fear, right? That I have like this upward human limit for like how good I can be at chess, which is a silly fear, right? I think like, okay, I do have an upward limit, but I bet that upward limit's like 2,200 or something, not 1,300. Because it is true, there are just naturals at chess who will be better at chess than I could ever be. But being 1,600 a mid-level player is not like, that's not my upper limit. I could get there. So then like my fear after I justify that point and argue is that like, oh, maybe you just have this like human limit, like your brain's just not strong enough to get above 1,300 this fast or whatever, or through this strategy. And this fast is like, you can also just be like, well, no, that's obviously dumb. You can just spend like 6 hours a day, probably figure it out, but it's still there. This strategy is scary because I'm afraid I'm wasting my time, but it's also an answerable question. You can test your strategy, and if it's not working, then it isn't. Then you just change your strategy. And right now it looks like my strategy might not be working, and I might need to do some more direct study. So for that, I'm going to go to some chess courses, and I am going to maybe find one course which will like just be really good and extensive and teach me a lot. I'm just at a level of chess where it's hard to find which chess courses are right, because I'm not like super good at chess, so I can't like use the ones for like really good players. But I'm also not a beginner. I don't need this chess course to like teach me like how to move my pawns and like what a skewer is or what a fork is in chess. But I need something a little more mid-level, so I'm gonna poke around for that while using my chess book and a couple other things I have. I feel like my chess book's a little above my level, but I can try to catch up to it. We'll see. And then just programming in that checklist. I don't really know why it's so hard, as I discussed, but I've done it completely for about 2 games now. I think I won one of them and lost the other. I'll have to check. So yeah, maybe it's just, I don't really know. I'm scared, but we'll figure this out. Okay, we're abandoning my new plan. We're going to go to an old plan, and we're going to do that chess checklist. I think I just need to, I'm going to watch my losses first, but I'm going to see if my losses are from dumb moves, my dumb moves, or from their smart moves. If they're from my dumb moves, then that means I need to internalize and make that checklist a habit, a permanent one, and make my brain look at a chessboard and think really hard before it moves.
If it's not, if it's because of their smart moves, then I'm gonna have to do a ton of study on chess strategy, so then I can beat people with smart strategies. But it's so weird with the chess checklist. Like, I tell myself, like, okay, I'll sit down, I'm gonna play this game, and we're gonna use this chess checklist. We're gonna do it. Who even cares if we lose? This is what we're doing. And then, like, 2 moves in, I just don't. Like, what is happening inside of my brain? Like, I told it to do the thing, and then it just doesn't. And then I literally, like, I'll click, and the move will be made, and I'll be like, why did you do that? What are you doing? And I'll, like, do the chess checklist for one move, and the next move I won't do it again. And I'll, like, even if it's a good move, I'm, like, so weirded out. I'm like, but we just had to... Or I'll even be, like, halfway down the checklist, and I'll just make the move. It's like I'm not even, like, consciously deciding to. It's like someone else is doing it. So maybe I just need to really train that into myself. Like, tie my hands behind my back, and I have to, like, click it with my chin, so then, like, it's a difficulty, so I have to really think about it before I make the decision. Maybe I can, like, turn on a setting on my computer to make it really difficult to use a clicker or something. Like, I don't know. I need to create a barrier between me and making these moves, so I have to think about them more and use my big brain. Because really, it doesn't feel like my brain's not big enough. Like, this is a weird way to say it, but like there's, like, kind of, like, in my mind, like, 3 possible problems. Like, my brain is not powerful enough as an engine. My brain does not have enough information to, like, process as an engine, or my brain is not, like, being used as an engine. And I feel like my problem might be, like, problem number 3, right? It's not like I'm, like, don't know enough strategies, because half these people don't know any strategies, and I know a fair amount of chess strategies. So I feel like that might be it. And so, and I mean, like, my brain it's a normal sized brain, and if I use it, I can make pretty good moves. So I feel like it's strong enough to win at chess. I just need to get it better at paying attention at chess and, like, being used. I don't know if that's a weird analogy, but it's what we're working. I don't know if you can hear an echo, but I'm pacing back and forth in my bathroom because the rest of my house is very loud, and I needed to talk out loud and think about this. So, I almost feel like my head's, like, full of, like, chess ideas and strategies, and, like, I just need to, like, shake it really hard and just have the entire thing, like, and have all the pieces and stuff, like, fall into place, so then, like, everything can fit together right. Like, I almost have, like it's all there, but it's confused. I need it to, like, process and sink in. I have all this information, all these lost games, all these won games, all these chess strategies I've read from my chess book over the past, like, hour, and videos I've watched. And I just need to, like, give it, like, a real good, like, shake or settle. Maybe, like, sleeping tonight can do that. You know, well, maybe, like, I'll do some, like, push-ups. I've experienced that before where it settles. So I'll do some push-ups. I'll watch those games, do some more push-ups, and then maybe I'll just turn this month into doing push-ups. No, and then I'm going to play a couple more games before I have to play D&D tonight. You know, it's weird, like, when you forget that when you try to do something big, that, like, the rest of your things in your life keep happening, like, the rest of your commitments. Like, I committed to playing D&D every Wednesday with my friends, like, 6 months ago, so now I'm kind of stuck with that. Like, and I mean, I enjoy it, and I would like to do it, but you kind of think when you're going to start this big project that, like, they're all going to go away, but they're all still there. So you have to, like, either get rid of commitments or, like, use the time you have. On Wednesday and Thursday, I was able to start that strategy and that plan. I watched a ton of videos on chess endgame and how to do that, and there's just like, the end of the game, which happens whenever checkmate happens, and chess endgame. Endgame in chess is when there are only a couple pieces left, normally just pawns and kings, or maybe a bishop thrown in there. And there's a whole strategy, and it's like a whole different part of the game than normal chess. But I was bad at endgame, even though I actually really like endgame. I think it might be my favorite part of the game. But I was learning a lot about it, practicing a ton, and then I just started to play. Now, here's the thing about chess. I can play chess on Chess24, which is the website where I'm counting my points and mostly playing chess.
But it's like gambling, you see, because if I'm like on a losing streak and I want to like try out a new strategy, playing on Chess24 and I win, I get points, and that's great. And I mean, I'm going up points and I have to win less games. But if I lose, I just lose. I'm now down even more points. So I could play on another website like Lichess or Chess.com or a chess game with like a friend through a link or whatever. But if I do it that way, then if I win, I just win. And it's like, oh, that's nice that I won, but it doesn't raise my points. So, like, every time I have this choice, right? Do I play on Chess24 and risk the loss but chance the win? Or do I play on another website so then I can get better there, and then when I want to play my quality games, I play them on Chess24, and my quantity games are played in other places, if that makes sense. So yeah, it's a gambler. It's a gamble. But too bad for me, I'm susceptible to gambling. I know if I got into gambling, it would quickly become an addiction, because I'm playing on Chess24 right now when I could totally be testing this new strategy on a different website, but I'm not. So, you know, I'm doing it on Chess24. I just got up because I realized I forgot my notebook, and I need that if I want to do the checklist. We're also I have a pencil in my mouth. We're also going to listen to music, because maybe that'll help. And we're going to read all my chess notes. And we're going to think with our big smart brain. And we're going to win or not. Really, it's not about winning right now. It's about training my brain to do something. That's what this is about. It's about training my... Well, if it's not about winning, maybe I should do it on Lichess. But I could win. And then my points would go up. Really, okay, let's think about this. If it really does work, and it's a smart strategy, then it would be a wise idea to play on Lichess until I'm good enough and confident enough to move over to Chess24, because it's not like I don't have enough time to get up that many points. If I'm consistently winning enough, then I'll do fine. And I don't want to dig myself any deeper into this pit I am in right now of low points. So, the wise decision would be to play on Lichess. But the fun decision, can you hear the complete amount of self-control it's taking not to just start a game on Chess24? And I decided that I want to be winning 70% of the time on Lichess with at least a sample size of 10 or more. So starting from Thursday, I would keep track of how many games I'd lost, how many games I'd won, and then once I had a sample size of 10 or more and I was winning 70% of the games, I would move back over to Chess24. And it seemed to be working. Slowly but surely. It is Monday. What? No, that's not the day. It's Thursday. A totally different day than Monday. I always feel like on Wednesday, I'm like, I have so much of the week left. And then Thursday hits, I'm like, it's basically over. I better do everything. I didn't win any of the games I played last night, though I played them just 2 games against the same person. We played a rematch, and it was definitely interesting. Near the end, I had to actually resign because I had to go do something, so I don't know if I would have won that game or not. And I don't even know what point score they are. I'm going to, this morning, play a ton more games on Lichess and just see if this new strategy of complete and utter focus, and that's all I care about, is enough. Train that into me, and if I'm still losing games, I'm looking back and I'm losing because they're smart, then I'll just shift my strategy to learning chess tactics, because really what I thought about, and maybe I've said this before, is if I'm just trying one of them and then it doesn't work, I can just try the other. The worst thing to do is half try both of them and not be quite sure which one isn't working and which one is. And so I'm just going to try training my attention and then my tactics, and then really, once I've learned which one's most important, I can just work on that until I start improving in points. And I think I'm going to try quality over quantity of games. So I'm going to practice new ideas and get good on other websites, and then actually move to Chess24 when I know I can win, or know there's a good chance of it. Okay, it's 6 o'clock exactly on the dot, just ate dinner.
I also did like 4 hours of study on Endgame, so my brain feels like it's about to explode with information. After that, I think I'm going to play a couple more games, following my thing, internalizing that, and then using the information I have about Endgame. And if I discover any things I don't know about Endgame, I'll study some more things about Endgame, and I'll do that on Lichess. Till I feel confident that I'm powerful enough to get to Endgame, and then when I get to Endgame, I'm powerful enough to win at it. So, let's get started here. I was on my way to trading away all the pieces just to make it endgame because I had an advantage. I'm going to claim victory. And I won. Whew! That felt nice. Everything worked out perfectly. I was at 4 minutes and they were at 9 minutes, but everything worked. So that's nice. It's funny. Yeah, my chess score is definitely now higher on Chess24. What's my chess score? I have a chess score of 1418. On Lichess. I play on Chess24. That's where my official rating is. That's what I'm going for. But now I have 200 more. I'm actually at my goal for the week. I could stop now if I was playing on Lichess. But that's probably because I've only actually played 3 games on Lichess, and all of them have been since I developed this new strategy. And they've also it kind of starts you more like 1500 more in the middle. So, but I do find that kind of funny. Yeah, let's play another game. Blocking out on Thursday night. I have tomorrow to play games, and then we're gonna be done for the week because I have to record and edit on Saturday and stuff, so I don't have time then. And Sunday's the Sabbath. But I played a couple games tonight, some of which I lost, some of which I won, but it seemed when I was using my system to its fullest extent, I was winning. So I just need to improve at thinking about my moves a habit. I just need to drill that into my mind, which I think I can do. And honestly, if tomorrow there's a good chance I won't be able to actually get to playing games on Chess24, so my chess rating will be very low, which is fine, because if I actually achieve this new system and make my brain work with it, then I will be able to win like 80% of my games. If I look back at my games and see like why I lost, and it was because I didn't follow these 2 systems. And so if I can actually get them to work, I'll be able to win 80% of games. So even if I spend all of Friday, even half of next week, just getting the system to work and finally implanting it in my brain, and before I start playing on Chess24, I can start rocking up my points really quickly, because I won't be losing as many games, and I'll definitely be winning more. But it's still definitely scary, because what happens if the system doesn't work, and I just stay low forever, and I'm stuck here, and I'm in a pit, and I'm wasting my time on this system. And I think I was a little scared at the beginning, but once I saw like how it was working, I'm pretty sure this is going to work. I'm pretty sure it's going to be fine, so I'm not scared at that. But it's also just really intense. I mean, like, I'm spending all of my waking hours watching videos about chess, thinking about chess. Well, not all of them, but like most of them. So to the point where like chess is kind of like all my brain can do right now. Like, when I close my eyes, I see chessboards and chess positions that I've been thinking about. When I'm like looking at a room or a space that isn't chess, my brain, like the chess pattern recognition part of my brain will like go off and like think I'm seeing chess things. It'll be like, well, if that chair is a bishop and that couch is a rook, you could take it. And I'm like, what are you doing, brain? Like, that's not what we're in a room. Like, it just is like, it's like trying to like, these new pathways are forming in my brain to recognize chess patterns, and they're like applying them to other things that aren't chess. And then sometimes I get all this information in my brain and it doesn't feel like it's like in there yet, and I need to like almost like shake my head to have it like all fall into place, and it's just kind of like floating around and clogging up the system. I only had chess dreams last night. All my dreams were just about chess. I woke up at 6 a.m. from like a dream where I'm like, what do I do with my bishop? Like, that was the first thought I had, and I tried to go back to sleep, and I couldn't because my brain was just, like, too stressed about this chess position. It's like, well, I mean, a bishop, it's over there. What can I do with it? It's really weird, but, I mean, that's kind of what I'm going for, to really get into a subject for a while so I can really grow in it. But it's intense, and that's a little scary, but it's also kind of really fun in a weird way. I kind of like the intensity. It makes you feel alive. But I'm gonna go to sleep, and then hopefully tomorrow I'll be able to make that system work in my mind and maybe get our point score back up. Though the goal is not to get our point score up every week. The end goal is 1,600. It would be helpful if we could do it every week, but maybe this system, we need to do it right now, and we can get it up in the next week and a half. We'll have to see. But I'm signing off. Good night, everyone.
As talked about there, it was a really intense experience. My mind felt like full to the brim with chess. And it was actually kind of nice, though. It felt like, oh, well, I'm getting something done then. Like, if my brain is this, like, feels like it's forming such new patterns and is tired, like, something is happening inside of my brain. So it's kind of nice to see. It's like one of those things where, like, oh, this is a consequence of a greater thing. This is a consequence of my brain getting better at chess and trying to see the patterns and recognize things, even though they're just attributing them to, like, a room. But I literally had another one of those chess dreams that night and woke up again early in the morning from it.
Okay, it's Friday. 6 o'clock in the morning. I wanted to just record this because I, once again, woke up at 6 o'clock without an alarm because I had a dream about chess. And my mind was like, okay, we need to think about this really hard. So I'm going to wake you up so you can think about it while you're awake. It's kind of annoying. I'm like, no, that's not what I want to think about. I want to be asleep. But I'm awake now, so I think I'm going to get up.
It was actually nice to get that early start on Friday, though I didn't have that deep of a sleep, and I started to play some games on Lichess, hoping that I would, learn some and really grind in that thing before the week went out, and maybe, just maybe, if I was winning enough of them, I could move over to Chess24 and earn our points back for this week.
I just won that game. I followed my thing pretty exactly. At one point, I was a little too quick to make a move, and they were able to make a good move, but I was already up so many points it didn't matter. But if that would have happened when I wasn't up points, that would have been bad. So I need to pay attention to the entire board. That's what I was paying attention to one corner. The problem I commonly have, I'm like really focused on this series of moves that they might do or I might do, and so I'm like preparing for it over there and making a lot of moves, and then they just like make a move that's totally out of left field, and then they pull off a maneuver in a whole different part of the board that I wasn't ready for. So I need to focus on the entire board. But besides that one, like, I won that game. So if I just win 2 more games in a row, then I will be able to start playing Elite Chess again. Start playing in Chess24 again. So here is my conundrum. How long do I play on Elite Chess to improve at my skill before I move back over to Chess24? Is it when I start winning 60% of the time? Because if you're winning 60% of the time, then that means that your point score would slowly increase. Is it when you're winning 80% of the time and it will shoot up 90? And I mean, if we're doing 60, you're like, oh well, you're winning 60% of the time, it's going to increase. But what happens if it's just the only reason you've won 60% of the time is you've played 10 games and yes, you've won 6, but that one of those games was luck and actually you've only won 40% of the time or something like that. So you'd want to be sure before you move over. Or is the gamble worth it because we don't have enough time? I don't really know. So I think I'm not sure, but I'm leaning towards being pretty sure that I'll win most of the time before moving back over because I still have 2 weeks. And I mean, if you're winning most, like 90% of games, it would only take you like a week to get all the way back, less than that, to get all the way to 1,600. But I don't want to move over and lose a couple and get even lower and then have to move back and then it'll take even more time. When I have a sample size of 10 and I have won 70% of them, sample size of 10 or more, and I have won 70% of them, I can switch back over. Right now I would have to win the next 3 games to make this a sample size of 10 where I win 70% of the time. If I just win 1 more game, there would be a sample size of 8 and I'd win 5 out of the 8 games, right? I think I'm only going to play 1 more game today. I'm actually way more hopeful than I was even when I just started losing 3 days ago, or 2 days ago, however days it was, because I have a plan. My plan is working, right? It's like I have a graph, right? In math, we talk about this, or you talk about this if
you have like a thing that is slowly growing, right? If you're slowly accelerating faster and faster, I mean, your acceleration is growing, your speed will eventually reach infinity. It's tending towards infinity. So right now, my chess score, well, not my chess score, right now my winning and how good I am at chess is tending towards infinity. I'm slowly getting better and better. I'm winning more games. So though the point in the graph is low, I'm definitely moving towards a high place relatively quickly, actually. So I can sense that curve. I can figure out the slope of this graph right here, and it's move. Actually, I could probably actually just make a graph with the information I have, but I don't want to because that sounds like work. But I can actually figure out how fast I'm going at chess, where I am going, so that is nice to know, and I am slowly tending towards better at this game. We'll have to see what happens next week, won't we? And I actually have plenty of time. Like I said, I have 2 weeks, and all I actually have to do, if I'm at 1,200 right now and I need to earn roughly 400 points, that means I only need to win 10 games a week. And you may say, oh, that sounds like a lot of games to win, looking back at like 10 net games a week. But if this plan is working, that is definitely achievable. So I'm going to get to practicing so I can win 10 net games a week. But I have to admit, I will be cutting it close with 10 net games a week. Once I get this working, once I have my brain fully functioning at the highest level, I'm going to have to play a lot of chess every day. But it's how I'm going to make it there. So I have hope, but it's going to be a challenge. And that's the point. So I'm excited. Let's get this show on the road.
And that was my last recording of the week. And I was actually feeling pretty good on Friday. Even though I hadn't earned my points back, my points were still at 1252. I had a plan, and it was working, like I said. And I can say here on Monday, just a little bit of a spoiler, it's still working. You know, it's not working perfectly. There's still difficulties, still challenges, but it's working, which is nice. This week did really feel like a Chess Strikes Back episode, you know, where we had last week things ended up fine. In the end, it was difficult, but we ended up winning. But this week we've ended lower than we started. And not just that, we are not closer to our goal when we started, obviously. So we have a plan, though, and you're going to have to listen to our next episode to figure out if that plan works. Before we can finish off this episode, we need to get to our very important segment, How I Failed This Week. Welcome to How I Failed This Week, a segment where we talk about mistakes I made, but really what I've learned this week. And I think the biggest mistake I made, and the one that caused me the most pain and most struggle that I've now overcome, is that I was kind of stuck in between two strategies. I heard this once that oftentimes in a flight or fight situation where you can choose to fight or to run away, people will take the worst option, which is to freeze and get stuck between the two. And really, just choosing one is your best option. Maybe flight is a little better, and maybe fight's a little better, but it's much better than just freezing up. And I think I was kind of just freezing up. I was continuing at my old strategy, but I knew that one wasn't working, and I wasn't trying a new one because that was scary, because what happens if that one didn't work either? And at least my old one was familiar. So I took too long to get to that, and I caused too much stress trying to decide which one, when really it's just better almost to close your eyes and flip a coin and then just go with that one and see if it works. And if it doesn't, you can switch to the other one. You'll learn way more by trying it than just by sitting there. So I switched my strategy, and I discovered a couple problems with that. I fixed it, and then my strategy was working. I don't think I need a new one, but of course I could be wrong, and then I would just switch my strategy again until I found one that worked, and then I would end up with the points I need. I do this all the time, though, and I really need to internalize, not just for chess, but for my life. Like, when I'm writing, I'll, write
I'll be stuck between like two endings of a story, and I just like won't write either, or like kind of try to make them one like ending, and it doesn't feel good. And so you just should probably just write one of them, and if that doesn't work, write the other, or write both and then choose between. Or like for schedules, I do that all the time where I don't know which schedule is best, so I just don't schedule, and I don't know when to set my goals, so I just don't set goals. But really, doing anything is almost always better than doing nothing, because the act of choosing allows you to learn, and it allows you to almost make mistakes. The worst mistake is not letting yourself make mistakes, because then you can't learn, you can't improve or take new strategies. So that how I failed this week and what I'm learning. And a quick segment within a segment that we've kind of developed, I guess, over the past couple of days, which is like how I learned in chess this week. And it's that, bro, look at the board and think before you make your moves. And it's so weird that I can't just like make me do that. Like I don't always do it. Sometimes I just make moves because I'm anxious and I'm just throwing pieces on the board and I'm scared. Other times I make moves because I'm tired and I don't want to think, or I make moves because I believe I'm going to win, or I've already won, so who cares about thinking, or just because I see a good move and I get overexcited and I do it before I think about it. But really, no matter how good the move seems, or no matter how bad all the moves seem, look at the board, think about it, and make your move. I've lost on time once, but I'm always terrified I'm going to lose on time, which is so weird, because if I run out of time, okay, you lost. But wouldn't you rather run out of time and be winning than lose and have plenty of time left? So I'm just trying to internalize, or I'll start to get stressed the longer I take to make the move, even if they have less time than me, so I'm not going to lose on time. There's just this building, choose. But really, you can just wait and think about your move before you make it. I know that's actually the exact opposite than what I learned in my life and what I learned in chess, but they're two very different games, right? In chess, you can't if you make a move, that move is now permanent. It is made. You can't take that move back. And in life, if you choose something, you could just choose a different thing. They're two very different situations. So that's kind of funny. But yeah, I need to think about my moves before I make them. And then when I make the move, think about their moves. Just really think before you take your actions. Most of this game is attention and thinking and predictions and problem solving. So just making moves because of emotion is never a good idea. Chess is not a game where you're supposed to do things based on emotions. And that is what I am learning, and I'm trying to master me making impulse moves. It's really, this week and these next couple weeks will be about impulse control and a little bit of strategy, but mostly impulse control and thinking and thinking and thinking. And I've always known that with chess. When I play against people who are bad at chess, the reason I know they lost is because they didn't have impulse control. At the very beginning of chess, the first thing I learned is, I need to think about my moves. I need to actively look at the entire board. I need to predict and stuff like that. But somehow, after 2 weeks, I have not fully internalized it. But I think I will be able to with this new strategy, and then hopefully next week I'll be able to start winning a ton, because I will no longer have that barrier in my way, and we will be able to get to 1600. Hey guys, thank you for listening to this week's episode of A Fool's Errand. If you guys want to hear future episodes, hit that subscribe button. If you want to leave any questions or just help the podcast, you can leave a review or tweet us at A Fool's Errand Pod, or send us an email at afoolserrandpod@gmail.com, or even leave a comment on our YouTube channel. I do have a couple questions and comments from listeners that we're going to share right now and answer their questions and just thank them for leaving us a review. Miller CS left a review saying, unexpectedly interesting. Wow, I came over to listening as a North and South viewer mainly to be supportive, but I was surprised. First of all, Andrew has a great broadcaster voice. Thank you. Second, your idea to learn 12 skills in 12 months is really interesting, maybe even inspiring. But most important, in my opinion, is your willingness to fail, even your expectation that you will fail sometimes. For an almost 16-year-old, you have emotional control and insight ahead of your years. After that, first day of yours, a lot of people, adults included, would just throw up their hands and quit, but you intentionally look for what you learned. Definitely watch the Queen's Gambit. I knew zero about chess before and found the world of chess to be fascinating. I look forward to your future episodes. Good luck as you journey on. Thank you, Miller CS. That's very kind of you, all those things you said. And yeah, I'm doing this experiment to fully
Like, I know that failure is good, and I think a lot of us do, but we haven't fully internalized it, so when we fail, we can, like, quickly recover and feel good. So I'm doing this to really program that into myself, and I hope it's working, and already I failed a ton and had to remind myself, and this podcast has been super helpful. All of your guys' support has been amazing, and also just knowing that I put out a trailer and an episode, and so I'm gonna have to finish this, right? Be really disappointing to you if on the third week of chess, I'm like, oh, this is really hard. I don't know if I'm gonna finish, or I might just quit the entire year project here. And your guys' support has been really helpful to me finish that, and you guys keeping me accountable. Thank you guys, so much for listening and leaving comments like this. And I will try to watch The Queen's Gambit. There's so many chess movies I haven't watched, and I keep saying I want to watch them, but I just keep not getting around to them. So maybe I should just like set aside an entire evening or an entire day to just like do like a marathon. And on YouTube, Karen W commented, do you think several moves ahead? Personally, I think it is hard to do. My husband takes so long to make a move, I lose interest. I think he is thinking several moves ahead. Good luck with your progress. Do you plan to change your music for month 2? I do like your music for this month. In fact, if you learned piano next month, you could compose your own ditty. Those are some great questions that you in great comments. First of all, I try to think several moves ahead, though I oftentimes don't, and that's when I lose. At least I try to think at least one move ahead. If I were them, how would I respond to this move in the game? And oftentimes you're just kind of building up different levels of plan. Sometimes the plan is like 6 moves. You're like, oh, I take this, then they take that, then I move here, then they take that, then I move here, then I move that, then I checkmate, or then I just like get this rook. And other times it's more like, oh, if I put my pawn out here, then I will be controlling this part of the board, so if it ever comes up, I will have like more power on the king side or whatever. But yeah, I try to think several moves ahead, and sometimes it's really hard not to lose interest when you're like, come on, can we just do something here? And I don't plan to change my music for month 2. I really like this music. I was actually looking for music for like a whole day, and all of it I was hating, and I finally hit this music. I'm like, this is perfect. I even like designed my logo after the music to kind of make it fit, and I really liked the feel of it, and it really helps me edit and all those things. It just feels like it fits, you know? But when I play the piano, there is a piano version of this song, so I hope to maybe be able to learn how to play it and then play it on the podcast. I think that would be really fun. And February is quickly approaching, so I'm really excited and looking forward to being able to play the piano and just try that out. I actually have to buy a keyboard to play on today if I wanted to get here in early February, so I better get on that. But if you want to hear about that piano, you're going to have to wait a couple weeks. And if you want to hear if our strategy worked and how that turned out, that episode will come out next week on Monday. So subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you guys. Love y'all. Keep bailing.